me, but I tend to reference songs a lot in just regular conversation, occasionally breaking out into song. And I think this is a genetic disorder because my parents do it too. And so when I was a child, my dad had a song for everything. And my dad used to sing barbershop when he was in high school and college. So it was often very fun, but also annoying because he was my dad, you know. And like when we were little and we'd get out of the car in a parking lot and have to walk to the store or wherever we're going, he'd say, "Take my hand, I'm a stranger in paradise," which is apparently a song. I had no idea. And another one that just blew my mind the first time I heard it on the radio, which was probably like 10 years after I had first heard my dad recite it to me, was his response to the question, "Dad, do you know what time it is?" "Well, Kathryn," he would say, "does anybody really know what time it is? Does anybody really care?" I'd be like, "I care! I care, Dad. I asked you what time it is. I want to know what time it is. I don't know what's going on right now, but what time is it?" And this song, it's a song for those of you who may not know. It's an actual song. It's by Chicago, and it's got a nice little tune. But this line, "Does anybody really know what time it is?" has sort of been running through my head this week. Because this is a Sunday that is very much about what time is it. We are at the beginning of our church year. We are approaching the end of our calendar year. This weekend kicked off a Christmas season, not necessarily the one we celebrate in this place. Is it Christmas or is it Advent? My family, we put up a Christmas tree, which I stubbornly refer to as the Advent tree, and it just confuses our kids. What time? What time is it? In our Isaiah reading, we hear "in the days to come." In our Romans reading, we hear, "You know what time it is." And then in our Matthew reading, we heard, "About that day and hour no one knows. The Son of Man is coming at an unexpected hour." What time is it? Does anybody really know what time it is? What times are going on in our lives right now? Many of us, if not all of us, have just had family gatherings that may have gone too quickly or lasted entirely too long. We're having celebrations of Thanksgiving and Christmas and Friendsgivings and other get-togethers. It's a time for coming together. We are also, as a country, looking ahead to January, and that will be a time of significant political change. As a nation, we are also in the midst of some environmental stewardship concerns out in North Dakota at Standing Rock and elsewhere in the country as fracking continues. And as a church, we are in a time of a little bit of uncertainty, as I hear again and again about how we used to have to put up chairs in the back and a standing room only. And this is not just this church, but every congregation. So these are the times, perhaps, that we are in. This is what time it is. We may not know the day or the hour. We may not really know what time it is. But at the same time, we do know something of what time it is, and we certainly do, as the song asks, care. In our Advent season, as we wait what has already happened and is promised to happen again, we know what time it is. It is time to prepare for the kingdom of heaven. It is time to prepare for the inbreaking of God into our lives in the most unexpected of ways. It is time to prepare for the birth of Jesus the Christ. knowing what time it is then asks us what happens next. Is it tomorrow yet? And what will that tomorrow be? Many, many mornings when I go into our oldest child's room, he asks me, is it tomorrow? And the part of me that is perhaps not a very good mother, but maybe a budding stand-up comic says, no, it's never going to be tomorrow. It will always be today. And then he looks at me, he's like, Mom, is it morning? Yeah. So we know it is time to prepare, but prepare for what? I think our Isaiah reading, the paraphrase that I read for the girls, this is what is coming. This is what it is time for. In the days to come, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established as the highest of the mountains and shall be raised above the hills. All the nations shall stream to it. Many peoples shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. Let us go to the house of the God of Jacob, that he may teach us his ways and that we may walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth instruction and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He shall judge between the nations and arbitrate for many peoples. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, and neither shall they learn war anymore. O house of Jacob, come, let us walk in the light of the Lord. This is what tomorrow brings. This is what we are preparing for. This is what it's time for. We are preparing for a time, and we are in that time when we will find the things of this world swept away like everything swept away in the flood, except Noah. We will find a time when swords are turned into tools of creation. We are preparing for a time when God will be among us. But hasn't this all already happened? God has, in baptism, already swept away the sins that hold us back and given us eternal life and salvation. We don't need to worry for ourselves, for our own sakes, for our own eternal souls about the day or the hour. We don't need to worry for ourselves, so we can strive and work to share the good news with others. And this is how we can prepare for Christ. So what time is it? Does anybody really know? It's not bad. It is time to beat our swords into plowshares. It is time to turn our tools of destruction into tools of creation. It is time to build up rather than tear down. I'm reminded of another song that I also sing a lot. It's an old African-American spiritual. Perhaps you know it. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Ain't gonna study war no more. I 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 ain't gonna study.